Reading from verse 9.10. Repeat after me. Maya dakshena prakritihi Suyate sa characharam hetunanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. Translation. Can go into the translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Translation: This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. Purport. It is clearly stated here that the Supreme Lord, although aloof from all the activities of the material world, remains the Supreme Director. The Supreme Lord is the supreme will and the background of this material manifestation, but the management is being conducted by the material nature. Krishna also states in the Bhagavad Gita that of all the living entities in different forms and species, I am the Father. The father gives seeds to the womb of the mother for the child, and similarly, the Supreme Lord, by his milk glands, injects all the living entities into the womb of material nature, and they come out in their different forms and species according to their last desires and activities. All these living entities, although born under the glance of the Supreme Lord, take their different bodies according to their past deeds and desires. So the Lord is not directly attached to this material creation. He simply glances over material nature. Material nature is thus activated, and everything is created immediately. Because he glances over material nature, there is undoubtedly activity on the part of the Supreme Lord, but he has nothing to do with the manifestation of the material world directly. This example is given. This example is given in the Smriti. When there is a fragrant flower before someone, the fragrance is touched by the smelling power of the person, yet the smelling and the flower are detached from one another. There is a similar connection between the material world and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, he has nothing to do with the material world, but he creates by his glance and ordains. In summary, material nature, without the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, cannot do anything. Yet the Supreme Personality is detached from all material activities.
Example is given is there is a fragrant flower before someone. The fragrance is touched by the smelling power of the person because he has smelling power. So the fragrance is touched by there. The smelling and the flower are detached from one another. Good example. No? Flower has nothing to do with that. That smelling power is there, so he is touched also by that. But flower remains aloof from that person. And then from and in one case, that person also is a kind of aloof, but yes, he's able to smell the flower because of his smelling power. But they're detached from one another. Good example. What it says, Maya means my, Adhi means from above, and Aksha means eyes. So Maya Dakshena means under my eyes. So everything is done under Krishna's supervision. Sri Vishwanath Thakur gives an analogous example to explain Krishna's words. The governmental business of a king, like Ambrish Maharaj, is carried by his ministers, Prakritis, while the uninvolved king merely remains present. All the same, unless the king is present on his throne, the ministers are incapable of doing anything. See, all the same is there. But unless the king is present on his throne, the ministers are incapable of doing anything. In the same way, unless I give my support as a supervisor, material nature Prakriti cannot do anything. And then Srila Prabhupada's purport summarizes Krishna's relationship to the material world. Question we ask, why don't people respect Krishna, who is the most glorious personality? And then the next set of verses will come up. So here, so we have only kind of discussed this topic a little more based on the purport what he says here. So just like if you see, there is Krishna is the background. See the background, and what else? Prabhupada uses the word. Is yeah, so is a supreme will. Lord is a supreme will, and the background is material manifestation. Just like if you keep iron filings and the iron and there is a magnet behind. So there is iron filings, the magnet behind, and there is some kind of table or something, right? So you move the magnet, iron filings also will move like that. So you may not understand that how this all moving and everything, but actually the background is the magnet is there. Same way, under the direction of the Lord only everything is happening. So Maya is simply like a shadow, for the material world. Just like I move my hand like this, shadow also gets moved like that. So that's how the will of the Lord is. So based on the will of the Lord, things are happening under His supervision. Everything's happening like that. But Krishna doesn't have to exert himself, because by mere his will, things are working on. So material nature is expertly, everything is doing, management of this world is happening. But the Krishna is the supreme supervisor. And also, when we see the living entities in this world, so now these living entities may be coming through some kinds of other living entities, through the process of reproduction, may be coming like that. But what one should understand that Krishna is the original father. He is the seed-giving father. So it's the father gives seed to the womb of the mother for the child. Simply the Supreme Lord by his glance injects all divinities into the womb of mother, material nature. So originally all the divinities they're put in this material nature, in this Prakriti, just by mere glance of the Supreme Lord. So it is said that by the glance of the Lord, the divinities are thrown or put in the material nature. And then they get different kinds of material bodies with the help of Brahmaji, and then further with the help of the parents like that. So one should know that originally it's Lord who has given this divinity in this material world. He has only put it. And why he has put it? Because divinity himself did not want to be with the Lord. He wanted to enjoy independent of the Lord. So reluctantly, Lord, puts the divinity in this material world like that. Like the particularly one soldier, the policeman, Havaldar, whoever. So he may sometimes inspector may catch the police, or sometimes there may be some very assistant also. The assistants may put the hatkadi and get the fellow in the prison like that. But it's all based on the supreme judge's order, correct? No, under his supervision, things are happening, correct? Or maybe the government. But there will be some people who will be doing different. They are becoming instrument. They will be doing like that. Same way, material nature, or even for the sake of parents, I mean, the parents or the Brahmaji, material nature, they're all the instrument. But actually, who's the main person by whose direction, under whose direction everything is happening is Supreme Lord. So this is the vision of a devotee, because devotee sees how the background of this material creation is Krishna. That devotee develops eventually that eye to see. But our eyes are very deceptive. Our material eyes are very deceptive. We forget it. That's why you see people become so much grateful for their parents and they forget their duty towards God. Like one student was saying that my parents have told not to come to ISKCON, not to chant, do it after PhD. And that fellow agreed also, but he doesn't understand that who is the real father of who is actually his real shelter and father. हम भी तो प्रभु कृष्ण is saying, and what Krishna is saying, man manava mad bhakta namaskuru, you come to my temple, you offer obeisances, you think of me, you chant Hare Krishna. So he's not concerned about the instructions given by Krishna, but he's very concerned about the instructions by his parents. So you can see that this is how we become attached in this world when we fail to see Krishna's hand, when we fail to see Krishna background in the background of everyone like that. So sometimes people become very much respectful, or they honor the material nature Shakti. They all want to honor Shakti. They become Shaktas. So they want to worship Durga or material nature like that. But they don't know that but material nature is working in the direction of whom? It's Krishna. So they only want to get favor from the Durga, from material nature, and want to only get opulences in this world, in different varieties of opulences. But they fail to understand actually the real opulences to actually be able to take shelter of Krishna. So they forget that how Krishna has the connection with the material nature, and then ultimately what is Krishna's will is to come back to him, to the eternal abode. So not remain stuck in this material nature, in the temporary comforts of this material nature. In the name of comfort, we get so many miseries, but we get stuck here. You can see that. So this world is very, our eyes are very deceptive, and we fail to see Krishna. Though Krishna is present, everywhere through the energies and also in the form of Paramatma. But the one who doesn't have an attitude of surrender to Krishna, or who doesn't take shelter of the scriptures, who doesn't take shelter of the devotees, so then his eyes will remain deceptive only. Then he can't see Krishna. And he will be stuck on the material platform, being grateful to the parents, being worshipper of his land, you know. So there's yasyatma buddhi kunapetu dhatuke. Sudhi kalaktadashu Muhammad. He will not consider bodies all in all, and he will think, and those connected to my body, they are my dear relatives. So he will remain caught up in all this. No, yasyatma buddhi kunapetu dhatuke. Sudhi kalaktadashu bhaumejyadi. The place where he has taken birth, he will consider that is my matrabhumi. Janani Janabhumi Swarga se Mahan hai. People have so many varieties of songs. And Yattirtha Buddhi Shalile hi karichit. Janesha Vigyesu Sayeva Gokharaha. So, and then they will go to holy places on mere to just take dip, not associating with the saintly personality. So they're more concerned about getting some material piety, so that they can have material prosperity. But they are not concerned about taking association of great devotees who are residing in the holy place. So they're all consider the mentality of animals actually. So that's why when we submit to Bhagavad Gita, we submit to spiritual master, submit to uh, Vaishnava. So then what happens is when we submit to the holy name, then we get the clear vision. How then we get ability to see Krishna in this world also, like that. And then that's why this information is so important. What scriptures are telling, because that's how we develop Shastra Chushu. Prabhupada says that we need the eyes to see God. So in the beginning, we have to at least start seeing Krishna through Shastras. Then eventually, as you become more and more, you start thinking of Krishna by seeing Krishna through scriptures and keep performing devotional service, sadhana bhakti process. Gradually, your love for Krishna will develop. Premanjana will come then from Shastra Chakshu, you get Prema Chakshu. With Prema Chakshu, you can actually see Krishna every time. Because once you have love for the person, then the person cannot go away from you. He's always there in your vision. He's always there in your heart. That's why yesterday we were discussing that how a pure devotee, his heart becomes abode of the Lord. So Lord rests in his heart actually. Then he cannot miss the Lord even for a moment. He's always with the Lord like that because of his intense love for Krishna like that. So that's why we should not just read Bhagavad Gita, but we should start seeing the world based on wisdom what we develop. Like when you go outside the world, you see, oh, they're Krishna's children. Krishna's by his glance, he's put them in this material nature, and they have got different kinds of material bodies like that. So one should start seeing like that. So instead of just identifying he's American, he's Indian, one should not see things superficially. One should see things with the vision of the scriptures, like that. And that's how gradually we'll develop this kind of vision more and more, and then thoughts of Krishna becomes prominent. That's how we start learning, think of Krishna more and more also. So we should take this wisdom into action, in the practical life also. So and Krishna has given so many ways, like if you see in 10 chapters, you'll find, Krishna will talk about the strength of the strong, and the ability of the man, and the best of everything, and the essence of everything. Krishna will talk so many things, like that. I am the sun and the moon. Sun and moon are the eyes of the Lord. So like that, we can see Krishna then in this creation as well. So just because Krishna is in background and only some things which our materialized sees, and then we just remain stuck on that platform only. Then we fail to see the Krishna. We fail to see Krishna. But actually, Krishna doesn't remain in background, as I said, we were discussing. When a devotee develops love for him, then Krishna, then the material world goes in background actually. I mean, they say no that what is that? Tharam Jangam Dekhi, Na Dekhi, Taramurtis, Sarvat, Avar Jangam. Put that. स्थावर जंगम देखे ना देखे तारमूर्ति सर्वत्र है निज स्थित देवस्पति. Although he sees trees, mountains, and other living entities moving here and there, he sees where, and he sees all as the creation of the Supreme Lord only. See, so this is how a devotee develops vision. Fully Krishna person, all the in this material world, does not see anything but Krishna anywhere and everywhere. This is Premanjan. See, this is a sign of Mahabhagavad. Mahabhagavad sees Krishna, so Krishna becomes the prominent. Material nature goes in back. You know. Like that you can see. So you see the material nature because the connection is so established, that you only see Krishna on that, like that. That's why when you go to your home, when you have love for parents, then you will only see your father and mother. You will not see so many things, whether what they have opulence, you don't have, they're poor. You don't bother them that. What becomes the most prominent thing in your life is that relationship which are relishing with your parents, right? But if the parents, the relationship is very strained and all that thing, then you go and then you see what facilities are there. Am I getting proper sleep or not? Then the whole home, what they have put, that becomes more prominent thing. Because the relationship is not there. Then you only calculate in terms of what I get, what I am, how comfortable I am. Because the relationship is missing. Correct. In fact, sometimes the person may fail to see the parents only. He's simply concerned about his pleasures and pains. Like that. So I'll pause here. Let's just see if any comments, any reflection anybody has. Yes. Please don't leave before sharing one point at least. Quickly. Anyone ready?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, so I like the point where, I think in the beginning you said, why does no one respect Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead? But I just think when you're saying like, Krishna is the sanctioner and he doesn't have his hand in all material activities, but he sanctions all of them. I think that's why like most people don't respect him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead is because they think they're the eternal doer. But if they're not sanctioning their activity, then Krishna is. So that means he's the eternal doer.
No, I couldn't get the last point. Prabhu, again you say?
So Krishna is sanctioning all activity. Maybe he's not doing all activity, but he's allowing you to do all activity. So because of that, he's the eternal, like he's the person that does all the activity because he's able to sanction it. But people don't respect him because they think that, oh, I'm doing all the activity. He's not doing anything.
So yeah, Krishna is doing it through material nature. In fact,
Yeah.
the divinity is not able to do anything actually. He only desires. We will discuss that tripod. That divinity only desires. Krishna sanctions, and material nature, it makes it happen. I want to lift my hand. So I cannot do. I have no capacity. I am a tiny jiva. But I can desire. Then Krishna sanctions. And then material nature he orders. Okay, allow him. Then I can lift. But suppose tomorrow I want to lift and I get paralysis. That's it. Then even if I had desire, I cannot lift. You see. So that means I'm not in control. I'm not the doer. It's very clear like that. But it's ultimately Krishna, who supplies all this. I mean, who sanctions, and even from him, the material nature also has come from him. Material nature, his energy only. So like that. Like if I open the door, somebody may say my fingers have opened the door. Somebody say my hand has opened the door. Somebody may say, Raghava Kripa has opened the door. Correct. But all these things are actually ultimately I open the door. I miss Raghava Kripa. But somebody may say no, finger, no, arm, no, the hand, no, but I opened the door. Same with Krishna actually in doing that way, that sense. But material nature becomes instrument, like that. And divinity is desiring. So that's why Krishna is aloof also, because he is not responsible. Because if divinity doesn't desire that way, then Krishna will not get into, Krishna may not sanction certain things which are not good for him. But he adamants, so then Krishna may sanction. But then he has to get for the consequence also and learn the lessons. Yes, Virat Prabhu, Dev Prabhu, and Srinivasan Prabhu and Punamataji. Fatafat, quickly one point as you're ready. Yes, Virat Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. My reflection was, I was just reflecting on why the material world was created, and based on the previous classes, it was created. It's created as a system just so that we can carry out independent enjoyment as to our own free will and wishes. And then when we have finished those desires, the expectation is to go back to Krishna. So it's designed as like is designed like a reform jail, where we are here because we have desired to be independent of Krishna, to fulfill our desires and beliefs. But Krishna's desire is that we use this as an opportunity to learn about him and glorify his name and then go back to him. So it's like an opportunity. The material world is an opportunity to reform and to go back to him, and he gives us that independence to do that. So he's created this system so that we can go back to Krishna.
Yeah, learn our lessons and go back to Krishna. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have our independent free will. Based on that, we come here, and Krishna facilitates to exercise our independent free will.
Right.
At the same time, Krishna wants us to, not just remain eternally like that, misled, and keep going that way without, because that way the divinity suffers. No, divinity, his birthright is to have love for Krishna, active love, exchange of love going on with Krishna. That's the birthright. That's how the divinity is truly happens. Krishna knows it. So that's why Krishna, for the sake of jivas, he designs the material world in a way that jiva can learn his lessons and give up independent desires, give up that misusing of free will, basically, and he can utilize his free will again properly and come back to Krishna. Yes, thank you. Yes, Dev Prabhu, you wanted to share?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you for that wonderful class today. Yeah, I just wanted to share that, like in a previous chapter, also in one of the purports, Srila Prabhupada explains like one who is losing the chance to become Krishna consciousness is indulging in what he calls Naradhama, and then he gives the example like when a baby is in the mother's womb, he prays to God for deliverance, and but as soon as the baby gets out, he kind of forgets the pain and forgets God. So the point there was like to revive this consciousness and understand that the child could only get delivered because of the God's grace. So that's the original like the origination of humanity or living entities. So we need to revive that connection and not forget about the Lord, even if we are like surrounded by all this material opulence in this material world. Yeah.
Yeah. You're saying that the child example, that the child gets delivered only by the Lord's grace. So we shouldn't forget that ultimately the child is dependent on Lord's mercy to get delivered. That we are saying.
Yeah. So he gives that example in one of the purports.
And when he comes out, then he forgets the Lord. Correct. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
And he thinks that, oh, he's my father, this is my mother, this is my nation. He forgets the Lord.
Yeah. Right.
Correct. It's very true, actually. When we are surrounded by all this, and then we forget, who is the person behind all this. So we forget the main person only. So that's how the material nature is very deceptive. When we don't look for Krishna, then we just get caught up in this kind of identities. Yes, Srinivasan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the nice class. So my understanding was, my reflection is like we need Shastra Shakshuru to start with to understand Krishna, because our material senses are defective. So we need Shastra Shakshuru to understand Krishna. Without that, like we can't understand Krishna first.
Yes. And as we perform the sadhana bhakti, as we go on, then and based on Shastras, and apply the Shastras in our life and practice the sadhana bhakti process, then gradually prema chakshu comes. The prema chakshu comes, then you just can't be away from Krishna. Krishna's vision is always there for the devotee.
Yes.
So we have to begin with Shastra Chakshu at least. We should try to seeing Krishna through the eyes of the scriptures. Yeah, otherwise our senses are defective and deceptive also. It deceives us of the reality, and we get caught up in that relativity of this world. Relative truths only we consider all in one. Yeah.
Yes.
Muna Mata, you want to share any point?
Yeah, Prabhuji. I just say that everything is going to happen according to God's will. We cannot see God, but He manages or control everything. He's the father of every living entities. To try to say that, and He's the controller of everything, and at the same time He's the aloof also. And when we become a Krishna conscious or just become a Bhagavatam, then we leave behind that material world behind, and we become totally Krishna conscious and remember the Krishna all the time.
Very nice. No, not Bhagavatam, Bhagavat. When you become
Sorry.
Mahabhagavat, yeah, Mahabhagavat means the very great advanced devotee of the Lord. Then the whole material world goes behind, and only Krishna becomes so visibly present for such a devotee. Very nice. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna, everyone.